Hi guys, welcome back. Scatlink here, we're off for more of ICO. And in the last episode, we met up with the Queen, who disclosed information on this young girl here. Where are you going? She's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I'm doing an intro. This young lady's name is Yorda, and she was kept in the cage because she needed to be protected, apparently. But it says the Queen anyway, and because we've interfered, she's kind of annoyed, and that's who is sending the shadow beings after us. And even though she told us to know our place and leave, she shuts the only way out in front of us. We need to open this gate in order to get out of here, considering that there was no way on getting to the boat that we saw at the beginning on how we got through. But before I do any of this, I want to let you know something. We did actually fulfill a trophy requirement in the last episode, but we didn't get it, and there's a reason why. And because, one, I've already got it, but two, the reason why I didn't put it on the screen is because trophies are a little bit weird in this game. In order to have the trophy take effect and be added, you have to go through a black screen transition from one area to another. And that is why, if you remember in part 1, when we rescued Yorda from the cage and walked through to the first save couch, which was a black screen transition. As soon as the black screen transition finished, we got a trophy. Of course, I didn't. I already had it, but I put it on screen for the sake of the LP. I know, once again, I'm standing around talking, but it's because it's the PS3 version, not the PS2 version, there's a few differences. This time concerning achievements. But if you remember at the end of the last episode, Yorda was walking around these three, telling us to interact with them as such. And they've got handles, we can pull them, so why don't we pull them into these slots here, and just keep doing that for all of them. Don't worry, you can leave it there, it's perfectly fine. Give me a minute. Sorry about that, a little bit of unprofessionalism right there, but I had my window open for air circulation, because when I record I get hot and bothered. Because it just gets stuffy, because I've got like 2 computers running, the TV and all that, and then I'm talking. But because the window was open and there was some car stuff going outside, it was going to interfere. And there we go. Pull these all into place, and they all are alight! But what does that mean for us? The gates are not opening. That's a thing. Weird. Come on, Yorda. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Alright, so now when we come back into this room, we would have had the trophy go ping at this point. And I'm sorry if there is any fizzing for some reason every time that the toilet light goes off. My TV fizzes if I'm running in component, which is kind of funny. I don't normally have that problem, but I have noticed that it appeared in last episode as well. So, or was it episode 2? I forget. But it did happen during then, and I was a little bit annoyed because I didn't think that was going to affect it. But yeah. Anyway, getting back into the game here. Sorry for going off on a tangent there. These flames are now lit, and because of pushing the stuff, or the braziers in the previous area, shall we say, I guess you can call it a room in terms of game structure, it's lit all the ones over here as well, which is very awesome. And now we can actually use this flames to our advantage. So if we come over here, not really much we can do at this point. Looks like if we could chop that rope up there, it could drop down, and then we could do stuff here. But we can't do that right now because a plank of wood is not going to cut anything. It's not going to cut it to solve the puzzle. So that's a thing. So maybe we should just go back on ourselves and see what we can do there. Anything over there? Nope. That's where most of the black portals actually show up, which is a very annoying place because you have to go all the way down or just vault over the side and whatnot just to rescue Yorda from the shadow beings, if that is the case. There's nothing down that side, as we've already checked. But now if we come up here, remember that I tried to show this off, but I didn't realise that the shadow beings actually spawned unless you come down this way. That's what I thought. I had a bit of an earthbound moment right there, but I still rescued her, so it's perfectly fine. If we can get the trophy that means don't get a game over, that'd be awesome. But like I said, I've already got that already, but that doesn't really matter for getting my platinum that I want. We have bombs here, so why don't we place a bomb here? In fact, there is another way you can do it. You can actually light a bomb, pick it up, then chuck it, but in this case I don't really want to bother doing that because it could bounce off a wall, and considering ICO's crazy strength on chucking stuff, it could bounce off a wall, punch me in the face, and why is this not lighting? Light the Like the fuse. Don't pick up the bomb! Well, the flame went out. Well, that was great. It is kind of like real physics. I did press so. I think I need to swap the controller. This is kind of a bad controller. Light the fuse already. There we go. The flame, the tip of the torch of the stick actually got smacked in the face with some debris there. Poor cameraman. But yes, as I'm trying to say without stuttering, because you know I'm the scat man, skibbity babadoody and all that. It's kind of realistic, really, because like you got realistic physics, and then you got like the torch on the end of your stick that has to touch it in order to do things. Now this room, I'm going to go off on a speedrunning tangent once again, but before we do, I'm going to use this save couch, so I'm just going to cut that out for a moment, but we can zoom in just to see them because they're kind of far away. Now that I've saved, if Yoda walks down these steps, shadow beings are going to appear, but the problem is if you go too far in this particular room, she does want to follow, and it's kind of an annoying thing, because this is one of the hardest rooms to speedrun, in my opinion, because like you got to like, if I can I actually, in fact I'm going to hold it just in case, can I rotate the camera all the way? Yeah, there's a switch there, and there's a switch symmetrical on the other end. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like that squarish bit on the floor there. You have to have Yoda standing on one switch, and have a block put on another so you can get through, so you can climb up and around in order to move down another block to put the switch so you can take Yoda through. But the thing is, as you just saw, as soon as you take her down this far, these guys show up. So that means you've got to push that block all the way down and rescue Yoda in a very short span of time. And I just freaking leapt like a jackalope. I couldn't think of a word, but there we go. So we rescued her. There's that block. That's the first block. But see, look, there's the second switch. So that's kind of an annoyance. And that means that you have to put her on that switch after you've pushed the block on the other switch. So that as soon as you leave her behind, you can run in to the next room, climb up there, push the block down, and then jump down. So you're now on your butt, recover as quickly as possible in order to pick her up. Like I said, I'm not going to show that off because I'm not going to show any speedrunning because I've already done it and I don't want to do it again, and I did not record it because it was just shouty and it was also messing with my concentration. And doing the whole game without commentary, I'm not entirely too sure how that go down, but I got away with showing the last part of the game that has no save points in between. So I hope you understand that. But like I said, this is a playthrough. If I wanted to get 100%, I would have had to do multiple playthroughs on camera in order to do it anyway, but I've already done all those beforehand. No, you don't, you mug. Drop her. No one's taking her today. But as you can see, even though I keep missing, because I will admit that the, why is he taking her through the door? You can't walk through solid objects. Speaking of which, I just killed your mug. There. This is the part where they start to have a lot of health. It takes like 12 to 15 hits with the stick. And if you can keep him in a combo lock, that helps. Good, I've rescued Yoda again. Come on, over here. To boldly flee. Go over there. I'll protect you! Okay, I just killed that spider, but the spiders normally die after a while anyway. At least she bobs and weaves. That's actually something that I can actually say. When they are after her, she does run around to avoid being grabbed, but they are naturally faster than her, so that's kind of a thing. She's doing a really good job at the moment, actually. She's just running in circles around me, drawing them towards me so I can smack them in. I will say, her AI is better in the PS3 version than the PS2 version. Either that or it's New Game Plus, because I haven't actually beat it on New Game Plus before, so it'll be the first time I actually get the watermelon ending myself, but I know how to do it, so, because the watermelons, to get the ending, don't actually appear unless you're in New Game Plus. And I clearly am, because you saw that symbol. By the way, that symbol for New Game Plus in the menu, that is one of the symbols that... My god, I can't hit this guy! There we go. I hate it when they keep jumping around. Even when you try to do that, you can barely hit them. Wait, is she fine? Okay, she's fine. Don't come over here. I was just calling just so I could see where you are on camera. Because the camera always swivels. Alright, let's have a look here. Is there a puff of black smoke up there? There we go. Okay, that means that the portals are gone. That means you've defeated all enemies. But even if you defeat all enemies and you do this puzzle, if you leave her in this room for too long, they will respawn. This is one of the times where you can't just leave her be. Because normally if you trigger a transition and you leave her in a room, that's normally a bad thing. And that's why when we leave her in that big hallway room, as I showed off the drawbridge speedrun part in the last episode, before we went to the Queen, speedrunning the first 12 minutes of the game, that's all one big room. And then when you're going back through the tower and the balcony to get back to pick her up to take the drawbridge, yeah, that's intended, and you're not leaving her for that long after the 2 transitions. But as soon as we transition here, we want to be quick. So let's have a quick look around this room. Got a pit over there, got some idol statues that we cannot reach, so that's a thing. We got a ladder here, so we'll climb this quick. There's a chain here. Can we go any further? Nope. Okay, so we'll take the chain. Being very quick here, because like I said, you don't want to leave her behind, but this is one of the parts where you're taught that you're forced to do so. Don't bother making that jump to that balcony. There's an easy way on doing that. That chain, don't bother jumping as well. Too awkward of an angle for one thing. Okay, now we're back here, and she's over there for some reason. I think it's because that you have to push this block so we can take her through, and that's what we gotta do. So let's do that. Drop onto the block, and there you go. You don't actually stumble if you do that, but I normally jump off during the speedrun because I need to go. Are you serious? Are you serious? What? I was in this room! I don't remember this happening. They don't normally respawn unless I took too long in the other room. I was down here! Get up, you Maureen! I was reeling in pain because I wasn't mashing a button. Yeah, so if you do get knocked down like that, just wiggle and mash buttons and you will get up very quickly. But wow! I don't remember them appearing unless this is something new Game Plus related. It gets a bit more difficult. You can't just take your time in a room after they've been defeated, perhaps? They just relentlessly appear? Is that a New Game Plus thing? I know this game pretty well, but like I said, I've never actually beat it on a New Game Plus mode because I've never really done so, because I just like either restart from the previous save point to beat the final boss again, or I play through the whole game again anyway, and I normally do it on a normal file. Because I'm not playing 2-player. And for the sake of the Let's Play, I am doing it on New Game Plus so I can show off the ending. The full ending. But yeah, that's very odd. I don't remember them normally appearing. Does it mean I'm always going to be on the run? Weird. Anyway, about 13 minutes right now, so we're not doing too bad on time, but seriously, that took me by surprise. I guess that's one way of doing New Game Plus blind, even though I know the whole game itself. I need to leave her here. And there are shadow beings that do appear in this room, but I don't think they appear unless you leave her too long in this room. Or, I pressed the wrong bloody button. No, I didn't. I pressed the button there, but it didn't want to jump for whatever reason. Like I said, this control was a little bit off. Shimmy, shimmy. There we go. If you keep holding up when he can't move up, he'll shimmy to the correct direction so he can. God, I'm very worried now. Yeah, don't bother going that way. I don't think there's anything that way, is there? No, there's nothing there. And that's a dead ladder. I guess if you want to guarantee that you don't stumble when you land, you could climb down that rusty old ladder. And just drop from it. That's another way of doing things. Maybe that's why it's there. Right, so what we need to do now... Oh, I'm so worried right now. Considering that we just had that happen. So what we need to do is that we need to pretty much get all the way here, climb on here, and this chain must do something because there's nothing else up here. So we come over this way, then we've got to jump. If you don't grab anything, you're going to stumble and then you're going to be hanging off the ledge. We can't go any higher, so we can't get onto that platform, but our back is to the chain, so if we press triangle, or whatever your jump button's assigned to, we'll grab the thing, pull the chain, and now that section of the floor raises. But now, what we want to do is immediately drop. I was calling her as well, by the way, just in case. But now, the problem is that I want to get her to as close as the wall as possible here. Please don't move. Because we can't jump up there, and that means she clearly cannot. But we can swing. So if we swing over there, we can pick her up. And notice that those are now glowing I've never actually noticed that. That's a very nice subtle thing. The idle statues are now actually flickering because Yorda's close. So what I want to do is hold your action button. Build up enough momentum. I don't think you need too much. I think that will do. There we go. Right, I'm going to climb up and immediately hold R. Don't walk away! She's actually walking towards the thing. I'm still holding R, by the way. Come on. No, climb up. What do you mean you can't climb up? And she's been grabbed. Whoopity flippin' do. That's one of the annoying AI moments where she wouldn't climb to where I am. Oh my god, I'm getting swarmed. You can probably hear that. Oh, really? He actually climbed up the ladder. He didn't take flight. That's interesting. Right, get out of there, you. You're not taking her today. So, I missed the chance for the spirit bomb. There's no way I'm going to be able to grab the chain, swing around, and then help her get up in time. That's unfortunate. Because otherwise I could have just skipped this fight entirely. And it ain't going to happen. There we go. At least the uppercut swing from like the final hit of your combo actually takes out enemies that are flat on the ground because you swing upwards from the ground. So keep that in mind. Oh, dude, I literally just took a hit to the face there. Right, get out of here, you. It's 4 off the edge. Problem is, if the ones that can fly get knocked off the edge, they will eventually come back up. They won't, even if they do land on the floor deep below, they won't actually die. Ones that cannot fly will do so. Mug! Why am I having so much trouble here? Why are you climbing down? There was a portal over there. Whoa! That was knockback and a half. I'm having trouble here. God, good lord! I don't normally fight this battle. I just had a bit of bad... Yorda just couldn't get to my hand quick enough. Her AI was like, I don't want to come closer. I mean, if I was positioned correctly, she would have immediately jumped. Why is she... I don't know if the spiders can actually get her when she's on walls. No, they can't. They're just an annoyance. Oh! You're naughty. You knocked Yorda off the bridge. Off the bridge? Off the ladder. There I go, confusing ladders and bridges again. It's like Pikmin all over again. Speech related. Can you please die? This takes too bloody long. This is why I skipped the battles early on. This is not worth it. Alright, they're going to poof. Right, they're going to poof. Bloody hell. Alright, let's try and do what we were going to do originally. Wow. That was terrible. 1. We'll jump on this one. There we go. Right, now she's directly aligned. That's what she was supposed to do. Run up to where I am and then jump. But instead she just stood there and went, can't do that. Or whatever she says in her language. Remember, we still can't understand her. Only we, the viewers or player, can. But ICO and Yorda can't communicate verbally. They don't understand each other's language. Hence those, well, because I'm playing on New Game Plus, it is translated for us, but I put the untranslated version underneath. Ah, now look at this. The Windmill. Like on the front cover of the box art. Unless you've got the American version, which looks horribly... Well, it just looks like a horrible high-res version of ICO. It looks like plastic. But yeah, so we've got a big windmill here. And we're already at 20 minutes, but there's no save point around here. And I'm not going back on myself. So, let's have a look at our surroundings first. Seriously though, the glow on the grass just looks so realistic and awesome. Remember, this is PS2 remade in an HD, by the way. So even on the original game, this is still pretty bright. Native brightness. See something over there. So, we've got like some sort of bridge over there. There's a switch, that might do something. And we need to get up there somehow. So, obviously Yorda's not as athletic as we are, so that means we're going to have to frickin' Prince of Persia this stuff. Even though Prince of Persia came out after this, I believe. We need to get up here. So, what we want to do is climb on this broken bit. Dude, there you go. What happened there? I'm having way more problems than I normally do. And like I said, I speedrun this game, so I know what the problems normally are. I'm popping into new ones. Right, jump. Climb up here. Climb again. I would like to keep these episodes into 25 minutes at rough average. So Alright, this is the annoying bit, but luckily we won't die for full damage because we've got a pool of water under us, which is very nice. What we need to do is literally jump on here and then immediately climb to the end. This looks absolutely insane, and you would never think to do this. But the game, this is how intricate the game design is. Hang on the corner for a moment, then shimmy down a bit, stay in the middle, wait, because we're going to have to wall jump. Ah! There we go. Whoa! Whoa! Excuse me, I was holding down. Why were you going up? That was the camera swiveling, messing up my input. I almost squandered that against my will. But yeah, this puzzle that normally takes a while if you can't get that jump right down there. But once you do, and then you can shimmy up here in good time, then this puzzle doesn't take long at all. But it's quite intimidating, to say the least. It's probably the first intimidating puzzle, where the last puzzle was more of a confusing puzzle. We've got a save couch over there, but like I said, we need the order. We've got more idol statues here, so that's nice. Let's jump here. Land in this little hole. Shouldn't really have jumped. Kind of overshot. Activate this. Alright, that extends. And it gets stuck. Of course it does. Nothing simple here. Yoda, baby. I'm over here. You see that awesome gymnastics? Right, am I at the edge? Am I at the edge? No, I'm not at the edge. There we go. Come on. Get a running start. I got you. I will not let you fool! The Queen will have my head and my horns. I think she just wants my horns at this point. Right, let's get up here. Do I have to help her up on... Wait, do I have to help her up on this one, or can she do it herself? Right, she can do it herself, okay. That just speeds things up just a bit. I'm still holding the call button, by the way. Order. There you go. I don't want to activate those at the moment, so I'm going to call her over here. Because I want to activate those in the next episode so we have a checkpoint, so I don't have to load the save or start from the couch and get up every time. May seem like a nitpick, but at the same time, this is normally one of the save couches I normally skip. So maybe I'll get the trophy now as soon as I save, I don't know. But if I do get it off screen, then I'll just pop it out at the end of the game or something. But yeah, I think we're going to end it off here. So that was the graveyard that I saved on 8, so I'll rewrite that so we can start the main gate if this episode's gone wrong for whatever reason. And in the next episode, guys, we just made it under 25 minutes. That's amazing. Even with those battles. Good lord. But yeah, in the next episode, guys, we're going to continue on from the windmill and hopefully reach one of those ball things that locked up the main gate. We need to escape and we need to get there. Can we do so? See you guys next time.